Something strange happens in your 20s. You wake up in the morning with a quiet tension in your chest. Not anxiety, not panic, just a subtle pressure that wasn't there before. Nothing suddenly breaks. Nothing clearly goes wrong. But slowly, life starts to feel unstable. You check your phone. Someone your age got engaged. Someone moved to another country. Someone started a career. Someone seems certain about their life. And suddenly the day feels heavier. Nothing has changed, but something feels off. You start asking yourself questions you never asked before. Am I making the right choices? Am I wasting time? Am I falling behind? And the strangest part is this. Everyone else looks like they know what they're doing, but you don't. And after a while, one thought starts to follow you everywhere. Maybe something is wrong with me. Or maybe everyone else is pretending to understand life better than they actually do. But what if nothing is wrong? What if this confusion is exactly what your 20s are supposed to feel like? Because your 20s are not the decade of stability. They are the decade where your identity is still being built, and identity is never stable while it is forming. Most people expect life to become clear in their 20s. They expect direction, they expect confidence, they expect stability. But psychologically, your 20s are designed to feel uncertain. Before this period, life had structure. School gave you direction. Family gave you expectations. There was always a next step, a next year, a next stage. Even if you didn't like the path still existed. But in your 20s, the structure disappears. No one tells you what comes next. There is no universal timeline anymore. Some people move fast, some people move slowly, some people change direction completely. And suddenly, the responsibility becomes yours. For the first time in your life, you are responsible for becoming someone. And this responsibility feels heavier than expected. Around this time, something else begins to change. Time starts to feel different. Years move faster. Decisions feel heavier. You begin to understand that life is limited, and this realization changes the meaning of choices. A job is no longer just a job. It feels like a direction. A relationship is no longer just a relationship. It feels like a future. Even a single year starts to feel important. And this creates a quiet fear. The fear of choosing wrong. The fear of wasting time. The fear of missing your chance. This is why setbacks feel unusually heavy. Losing a job feels like losing direction. A breakup feels like losing years. A mistake feels like falling behind. But the deepest tension of your 20s does not come from time. It comes from uncertainty. The human brain prefers certainty. Predictable environments feel safe. Stable patterns feel secure. But your 20s are full of unknowns. You don't know where you will live. You don't know what you will become. You don't know who will stay in your life. You don't know which decisions will matter. And the brain interprets uncertainty as risk, not dramatic danger, just a quiet signal in the background. This is why many people in their 20s feel a constant low-level tension, a sense that something is unresolved, something unfinished, something unclear. You may look calm on the outside, but inside there is a quiet alertness, as if life is waiting for a decision, as if stability is always just out of reach. And then something even more difficult appears: comparison. One of the hardest experiences of your 20s is watching other people move forward. Someone gets a stable job, someone gets married, someone finds direction, someone looks confident, and slowly you begin to measure your life against theirs. A dangerous belief appears, the belief that you are behind. But this belief is often an illusion, because what you see in others is only the surface of their lives, not the uncertainty underneath. Most people in their 20s are uncertain in private. even when they look confident in public. Everyone is experimenting. Everyone is adjusting. Everyone is trying to understand their direction. But uncertainty is invisible, so it feels like you are alone in it. Another quiet change happens in your 20s. Life becomes quieter. Friends move away. Schedules change. Lives diverge. The people you once saw every day become people you see a few times a year. No one prepares you for this change. It is not dramatic. It happens slowly, but it changes how life feels. Your world becomes more independent, but also more silent. And sometimes, this silence feels unfamiliar. Something else changes too. You begin to change. You try different versions of yourself. The ambitious version, the calm version, the disciplined version, the creative version. None of them feel permanent, and this creates a strange doubt. You begin to wonder which version is real, but this uncertainty is part of the process. Identity is not discovered all at once. Identity is built slowly, through experiments, through mistakes, through temporary versions of yourself, and then another shift appears. People become quieter in their 20s, not because they have nothing to say, but because they begin to see more. You start noticing patterns, consequences, motives. You begin to understand that choices matter, words matter, time matters, and slowly you become more careful. You think longer before acting. You observe more than you speak. You protect your energy. You choose your environment more carefully. Sometimes this change feels strange. You start to wonder if you became different, if you became colder. But often you did not become colder. You became aware. One day, you may look back at your 20s and understand something you cannot see right now. You were not lost. You were building a life that did not exist yet. The instability was not failure, it was transformation. The uncertainty was not weakness, it was growth. And the version of you that eventually feels stable is shaped by the confusion you survive now. Because your 20s are not the decade where life becomes clear. They are the decade where you learn to live without clarity. And almost no one tells you that. And strangely, that is what prepares you for everything that comes after.